Let's jump in. Waste no time. First tweet we want to hit here. Paul Brettel tweeted out, Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, Matthew Golden, Quay Walker are all questionable. Carl Brooks, Savion Williams, Van Ness, and Jayden Reed are out. No injury designation for Josh Jacobs, so he should be good to go. So we get Jacobs back. No surprise there. We were kind of holding out hope that we would see Jayden Reed this week. That's not going to happen. I know that was their target was around Thanksgiving, was they wanted to try to get him back. How do we feel about this injury report here, Tim? Because listen, Keyshawn Nixon and Matthew Golden most likely being good to go. I think that's great news. Quay Walker as well. I mean, when you say questionable 50-50 shot, I wouldn't be surprised if they sit Quay. I think you'll more than likely see Golden and Nixon, though. But how do you feel about this, man?
I would agree with that. And same thing with Hobbs, right? 50-50 shot. Maybe he's back in a supporting role, snap count at best, but maybe he's held out as well. And same thing with Quay. But yeah, MG and K9, I think are going to probably play. But looking at, Carl Brooks, Savion, and LVN, I mean, foot, right? Ankle, foot, something going on there. Something to keep an eye on going forward. And no designation for Josh Jacobs is good news, right? Hopefully he's definitely going to play.
I agree, man. I think that's great news. He's probably good to go. He's probably good to go last week. You know how that guy is, but I think it's probably more precautionary than anything. So here's the full injury report. And again, Wendell Ferreira over on X tweeted out several injury issues for the Lions as well, especially along the offensive line. He did point out Frank Ragnow is coming out of retirement, but not against the Packers. There were some reports that were saying he was going to play tomorrow somehow. I'm going, what are y'all smoking on to think he's going to just come out of retirement and jump right in the lineup? But here is the injury report in its entirety in terms of the players that were out. We talked about Carl Brooks, Lucas Van Ness, Jayden Reed, and Savion Williams all out, questionable. The Matthew Golden, Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, Quay Walker, everybody else with no game status, which means they should be good to go. Javon Bullard, Edgerrin Cooper, Josh Jacobs, Zach Tom, Dontavion Wicks, Romeo Doubs, Jordan Love, and Christian Watson. No surprise there. When you jump up to the Detroit Lions side of things, so Graham Glasgow, I think is how you say it, he will be out with the knee. So keep in mind, Frank Ragnow was like their all-world center, hell of a football player, plays the game the right way, right? Well, he retired this season, okay? So let's put that to the back burner for a second. They had drafted a young whippersnapper. I'm trying to think of his name right off the bat.
Tate Ratledge,
and there was rumors he was going to be the center, and then there was rumors that Glasgow was going to be the center. I don't know if Tate Ratledge ever took snaps at center or not, but regardless, they are at least down to their third choice at center in this game. And I think that could be absolutely huge. Now, it helps that they're at home. However, you know how Packer fans, they'll travel a little bit too. Don't be surprised if it gets kind of loud in the dome. There's nothing I would want more on Thanksgiving Day, Tim, than to have them have to go to the silent count at home. That would be absolutely awesome.
And being inside Ford Field there in the dome, right? It echoes around, and if you're loud, it's going to be noticeable down there on the field for sure. So we all know the Packer faithful travel well, and I'm sure that'll be no stranger tomorrow in the Motor City. Looking forward to it.
Down there in that glorified warehouse. That's what I always think of when I see that. It's just like, damn, could y'all not do anything to the Raptors to make it look more professional than that? It looks like they're playing in a literal warehouse. So,
well, they don't have any banners to hang up, so.
It's true. Very true. Kirby Joseph, safety, we talked about it yesterday. He is out. So that's a huge blow for them. Josh Paschal, edge defender with the back injury. He's out. Wide receiver Khalif Raymond, he's out with the ankle injury. Tight end Brock Wright with the neck out as well. So they are really banged up at tight end. Sam Laporta's on IR with the back surgery. Now you got Brock Wright with the neck injury. So they're going to be really, really shorthanded in terms of tight end and center, right? Really, and health safety for that matter as well, for a defense that's it's definitely taken a step back this season. So those are the players that are listed out for the Lions. How do you feel about that list there, man?
Yeah, I mean, Kirby Joseph not playing, that's huge in that secondary. But then again, you see Brian Branch, full participant the last couple of days. So I'm assuming he'll be back there. And then, yeah, you're right. They're thin at tight end, man. Really thin at tight end. I'm wondering if they're going to think about running that ball, They're going to have to run the football.
Yeah, they're going to have to, and that's what they're doing well right now. In terms of their offensive line, they're run blocking really well. They're pass blocking like poopy, right?
Poopy.
Poopy. That's what we say over here in the streets. All right, Coach Lynn said Tesla out. So here are the questionables, okay? Terry and Arnold with the concussion. He was in concussion protocol, looks like. He's listed as questionable. I guess he'll be a game time decision. Edge defender Marcus Davenport with the shoulder was full practice, still listed questionable. He'll probably go, I would imagine. Taylor Decker, tackle with the shoulder, limited all week. He's questionable. Then you had Miles Frazier, offensive lineman, with the knee injury, full practice all week, listed as questionable. There's Tate Ratledge listed as a guard with a knee injury, limited all week. Panay Sewell with the ankle, limited all week. Both of those guys are listed as questionable. There's the one Coach Lynn asked about, Isaac Tesla with the hand injury, limited, questionable. And then Sion Vaki, ankle, thumb, the running back there, limited, questionable as well. Yeah. I think you'll probably get half of those guys playing, but those offensive line, Tim, they're going to have to play.
I was going to say they're banging the hell up on the O line, and then you talk about tight end; they're thin at tight end as well, so that's going to create problems. And then, you look at Tesla, their young upstart receiver here, a hand injury on a receiver, that's serious business. That's your job, catch the ball. So that's a coin flip. And then looking at who had the concussion, or who was in the Terry and Arnold in the secondary. So that's a game time decision probably if he clears and he's good to go. But if they're missing him and Kirby Joseph in that secondary, it might be Toyotathon in full effect tomorrow for Jay Money and the boys.
And Brian Branch does not have a game status, so he is definitely playing, but he's been banged up with the toe and the ankle injury. Now, he was full practice or limited, then full for this week, and then as well as running back Jacob Salyers, I guess is how you say Sailors maybe. Yeah. Back shoulder injury, limited. So they are, man, they're banged up. Again, though, those boys are going to be ready to play. We talk about this all the time. Whenever you have a division rival like this, especially on a national stage, knowing everybody's watching, you're going to be playing for the turkey leg, the whole 9 yards, right? You're going to get the best version of that team possible. So throw the injuries out the window, throw the injury report out the window, throw the records out the window. This is going to be a good game. I really believe that, man. So
me too.
Pack Daddy in the house. Good to see you. Ronnie says that's second A in Tesla makes me irrationally angry. Dude, I was wondering if it was something political, to be honest with you, Pack Daddy. I'm like, how long has he had that second A in there? Because I kind of feel like they just tacked that on to make this non-controversial in today's society. But I always want to say Tesla too. So anyway,
maybe that's just to remind us to say Tesla instead of Tesla. I guess.
I feel like you got to stick your pinky out as you say that.
I'm with Ryan though. It's like, why am I so frustrated with this?
I mean, it makes my mind do gymnastics. I'm like, how do I? What? Why are we doing this? So Doug in the chat says Big Cat was crying on X that he wanted to protest Ragnall's return. That sounds like something Big Cat would do. I call it.
A Bears fan crying? Shocking.
I think he's called Big Cat for another reason, but we'll keep this thing PG-13 here. All right. So let's move it along here. Green Bay's side of the injury report. Again, we talked about the four guys out. The questionables: Matthew Golden, Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Quay Walker. You think all four of those will go, Tim? And am I maybe, there's no two injuries that are the same, right? Yeah, and when you see that, obviously, Keyshawn Nixon and Quay Walker both had a stinger, I immediately want to think, well, damn, that means there's no way Keyshawn Nixon's going to play because Quay missed last week. But again, everybody heals different, and there's different levels to stingers, all that good stuff. So I think Quay will probably go. Maybe Keyshawn's the one that doesn't go. They would have had him listed as no practice on Monday and then limited Tuesday and Wednesday, the game status being questionable. If you had to pick out of those four, who do you think's playing, man?
I think there's a chance all four are active, but all of them being on snap counts. But if I had to really bet on it, I'd say Matthew Golden, Keyshawn, and maybe Nate Hobbs. Maybe Quay is another week. You never know. Like you said, stingers are tricky, man. Neck injury is, no joke. And, look at Quay and Keyshawn with similar injuries, right? You're talking about two totally different builds, physically. So it all depends on how they heal. But questionable is a good sign. At least it's not doubtful or, definitely out. So, I would think at least 50% of them are active, but definitely on a snap count.
Yeah. So again, I think we're I think we're good. I think Matthew Golden will play,
Yeah.
especially with Savion and Jayden being out. I feel like they probably held those guys back a little bit because they're getting Golden back. So I think Matthew Golden will play. I think there's a chance that Quay plays more so than Keyshawn. And in terms of Nate Hobbs, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is the week or not, to be honest with you. I think it'll probably be one of those two, though, right? Between Keyshawn and Nate Hobbs, whichever one they decide to let go, maybe sit the other one. I don't know. We'll see, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find out tomorrow before
I would
kickoff.
anticipate whichever one of those two plays, they're going to be limited in the game. You know, we're not going to see the 30, 40, 50 snaps that we're used to.
Right. Completely agree. So there is your injury report, your final injury report for the Thanksgiving Day matchup between the Lions and the Packers. We'll be going live a little bit earlier this week because I got to travel about an hour to go to where we're going for Thanksgiving this year. So we're going to go live at 10 a.m. Central in the morning for the PTA pregame show. So make sure you guys set a reminder for that. We'll be going live at 10 a.m. Central. So we probably won't have any of the inactives, but we'll just kind of give you guys a last-second preview of everything, get you ready for the game before I hit the road. I should be sliding in sideways into Rogersville, Tennessee, crash out. All right, watch the game real quick, jump on for a post-game show. We're still going to try to do that if my wife doesn't try to divorce me in the process. So that's the plan as it sits right now. So let us know what you think about the injury report, though. Who do you think will be playing tomorrow? Is this good news? I was kind of surprised by Jayden Reed. Or you guys surprised? Did you feel like, hey, no, this is probably a little more, maybe it's a little worse than they thought. Maybe this was their plan all along and they wanted to bluff a little bit of Jayden Reed coming back to have them maybe think about that a little bit, them being obviously the Lions. But let us know in the comments if you're watching this video back later what you think. And make sure you hit like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future.